Yo, I'm back with another one. This is Traversal ENT. Let's talk about a certain fighter that I like, guys. Yeah, I like this fighter. I'm not gonna lie. Now I've seen him fight a few fights, and to be honest with you, sometimes he's fights they're messy fights because there used to be a little grappling, and I can't stand the boxing match with far too much grappling. But the fighter I'm talking about is none other than Lawrence Okolie from the United Kingdom. Lawrence Okolie. He is 15-0, 12 KOs. Lawrence Okolie. Now, Lawrence Okolie is rated by Ring TV as 6th in his division. And to be honest with you, I want to talk about Lawrence Okolie a little bit because he impressed me this weekend. He really did. Not just because of the fact that he got rid of a replacement fighter. He was supposed to fight for the belt, I believe. He got rid of this replacement guy, but he did it in really good fashion. I loved the way he boxed the fight. I absolutely loved how he did it. Love that sort of fighting. But it's the fact that he was lethal in that ring. Jab, crisp, powerful, hard, sharp. Right hand, devastating. He's an intimidating, imposing figure anyway. Killer, lethal. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Guys, I got to tell you, see, in boxing, sometimes you got hype jobs in boxing. I'll be the first guy to say it to you lot. I'm going to keep it 100% real. There are hype jobs in boxing. And I'm going to state you a name of a hype job person. People ain't going to like that I'm going to say his name, but I've always thought he was a bit of a hype. That's not to say he can't improve, but I've always thought he was a bit of the hype. What's his name? Daniel Dubois. Hype job. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean he was rushed. He was not ready. You got guys like Frank Warren who was saying, I believe he's ready now. I believe he can fight the top guys now. Are you kidding me, Frank? He got beat by the jab. Anyway, Dubois aside, because we're not talking about him. Lawrence Okolie is no hype job. This guy's got real skill, real talent. Trust me on that one. And he's got power. He's long, awkward. He's a nightmare for fighters to fight. But look, if you're managing someone like Lawrence Okolie, yeah, I know he wants to unify his division and all of that stuff. That's all well and good for legacy. But to be honest with you, aside from that, I would only focus on that if I couldn't get big pay-per-view fights with Lawrence Okolie. But I think he has the potential to have pay-per-view fights. I really do, guys. I'm sorry to say it, but I really think he has got it. I think he's got it. He's got a great mouthpiece. He definitely knows how to hype up a fight. Do you remember the build-up with him and Chamberlain, Isaac Chamberlain, against Lawrence Okolie? That was a crazy build-up. He knows how to cause a social media stir-up. Do you remember when he called out Dillian White? That boxing needs stuff like that. Now, if I'm managing Lawrence Okolie, Eddie Hearn, pay attention. Eddie Hearn, listen. Lawrence Okolie wants to unify. He wants to fight all the champion and get all the belts in his cruiserweight division. But I'll talk about that later because that's not that interesting. I know it sounds crazy, right? What he should be doing is seeking these isolated pay-per-view fights that he can get with heavyweights. You see, Lawrence Okolie's big enough to make heavyweight. He can do it. There's no doubt about that. Especially the lighter heavyweights. I believe Lawrence Okolie beats a Derek Chisora. I really think he'll beat Derek Chisora. And that's a fight that's pay-per-view worthy, in my opinion. If it's promoted right, press conferences go according to plan, people will pay to watch that fight. I'll watch that fight. The American crowd might not, but the Brits definitely will watch that fight. And if Lawrence Okolie knocks out a Derek Chisora, his name becomes massive. That's when the US market will pick up on him properly, in my opinion. Lawrence Okolie against Derek Chisora, I'd make that fight happen. Derek is at a point now, he can't demand anything. He lost to Usyk. He wasn't supposed to lose that fight. Well, Usyk was seen as the better boxer, but Chisora's the heavyweight, not Usyk. You can't be losing to Usyk and then saying, I'm not going to fight an Okolie. He don't bring me nothing. I don't want to hear that crap. Get Okolie in with someone like Derek Chisora. Okolie, spark him. I'd be trying to get Okolie in with many different isolated heavyweights. Listen. One of my dream fights for Okolie is against Usyk. Now, I know this fight ain't going to happen. I know this fight is way off from happening. But if that fight was ever to get made, I'm telling you today, Okolie style and just his imposing figure, I believe Okolie will knock out Alexander Usyk. I'm going to say it again. I believe Okolie knocks out. I believe he beats Usyk. I do, but I know that fight ain't going to happen. And I know, Eddie Hearn, you think so too. Usyk is overrated. He's not a bad fighter, but he's overrated. Daniel Dubois was hyped. He's not a bad fighter, but he's still green, far too green. Okolie, there's no hype there, mate. He's legit. Take my word for it, he's legit. Lethal fighter. Awkward fighter. Heavy-handed fighter. Serious knockout power fighter. Go and watch the fight he had Saturday. I know he fought a replacement, but the way he dealt with that guy, my days, that's what I like to see in boxing. If all my guys could beat their opponents like that, I'd love it. I think Okolie can be really stepped up. Now, let me look at his division. Like I said, the cruiserweight division doesn't excite me. I don't find that division sexy. I don't. Now, I know you know Dorticus. He's a good fighter. He's lost fights where I don't think he should have, but he's a decent fighter. Marius Bradis, I've never watched. Ilunga Makabu, he's rated as number 2. Marius Bradis is rated as the ring and the IBF champion. Dorticus, I think he used to have a belt, but he doesn't at the moment. Now, Makabu is a good fighter, but Makabu is the same guy who lost to, what's his name, Tony Bellew. It was a very close match, dangerous fight. Bellew's got power to knock guys out. Makabu's got power to knock guys out. Makabu dropped Bellew early in that fight. He thought he had the fight bagged. He got too confident. Bam! He got laid out. He lost that fight because he got too confident. Do I think Makabu beats Okolie? No, I don't think so. I think it's a dangerous fight, but I think Okolie will come out the winner in that fight. It's a dangerous fight. I'll be the first to say it's a dangerous fight. 50-50 fight. But I think Okolie will win that fight. Now, Okolie Makabu, that's a good fight to make. Okolie Dorticus, that's a good fight to make. That's a hard fight for Okolie. I'm going to tell you straight away. I believe that's probably Okolie's hardest fight in the cruiserweight division, in my personal opinion. Guys like Andrew Tabiti is not a bad fighter, but I think Okolie will beat him. I'm not going to mention the rest of them because I don't really watch the cruiserweight division like that. I'm not interested in them like that. But for me, there's just maybe 2 or 3 good fights for him in that division. He wants to get the belt. It will take him at least a year and a half to try and collect all the belts in that division. If in that time, he could have a pay-per-view fight with Derek Chisora. He could have another pay-per-view fight with someone like Andy Ruiz, who I think Okolie sparks out Andy Ruiz clean. I would be aiming for that fight summer 2021. I really would, or late 2021. Get Okolie a belt. That way, when he's demanding fights with heavyweights, he's got some kind of credibility. Because I think Okolie sparks out guys like, what's his name? The out-of-shape Andy Ruiz. I think he sparks him out. I think Okolie beats Joseph Parker. I really do. I'm sorry, guys. I think he does. If he don't, he don't. It doesn't matter. He'll be a better fighter for it. I think he beats Parker. I think he beats Andy Ruiz. I think he beats Derek Chisora. These are 3 pay-per-view fights Okolie could have in 2021. Eddie Hearn, listen. Because I know you appreciate these type of advice, Mr. Hearn. I know you do. Because you see things how I see it. Okolie's that guy. He's not hype. He doesn't need to be moved slow. The guy's 27. Get him rolling. Let him knock out someone that's of note in his division. Let him have a belt real quick. Do it quick. And if he ain't gonna pick up a belt in that way, I mean, he should, but if he can't, let him knock out one of the top three. I don't advise to put him in there with Dorticus just yet. Put him in there with Makabu. Put him in there with Christoph Glovacki. That's how you actually say it. It's not Glovacki or Wacky. It's Glovacki. Put him in there with Christoph Glovacki or Makabu. Maris Bridis. I ain't seen him. I can't really make a statement. Put him in there with him. I don't give a monkeys. Whoever you want. Any of the top three you want. Aside from Unel. Let him get a strap. Or let him knock out one of those guys. Then start making that Derek Chisora fight. Start making that Joseph Parker fight. Start making that fight with, what's his name? Overweight, heavyweight. Who beat Anthony Joshua. Name's going right out of my head. Andy Ruiz. Look, listen. Let me ask you a little question. Can Hughie Fury beat Lawrence Okolie? Those of you who know Okolie, that's not a foregone conclusion. Are you kidding me? Of course not. I'd fancy my chances on that fight if I was Okolie. Okolie will spark out Marius Wack. So why isn't he taking these fights that's going to really blow his name up? The cruiserweight division is a bit of a boring division. Okolie spars Joshua. They sparred many times. I got faith in you, Lawrence Okolie, man. I like Lawrence Okolie, guys. Straight away. I think he is going to do big things in the UK. He will be an absolute solid champion in the United Kingdom. No ghost attached to him. He doesn't know defeat. He carries that arrogance that you need to be great. I like Okolie. Lawrence Okolie, you get the capital salute from Traversal ENT. I'm out, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. I want to know what you lot think. Leave your comments down below. Until the next one.